I cannot seem to film this video for some reason. I just keep going on and off. Look, look, this is just showing you how the demigods have full control. This is the demigod video, a demigod pretending to be, the demigods are great pretenders. We can relate to the songs, we can relate to the movies, we can relate to everything on the computer, we can relate to the mostly android beings around us. We can interact with all these things. But it's the demigods are the controllers of the internet. They're the well-known ones and not so well-known. They're basically everyone and anyone that's on the computer. But when I say demigods, that usually implies those that have a high standing or that are very successful on the internet or the computer. You can usually tell this by how many people are watching them, how many, I guess you would say how many views. See, that's like 1 million people watching a demigod or a great pretender pretending to be a human being, enlightening and telling you about the reality, whereas in reality they are telling you what they are, but you will think they are telling you about the others. The others is them. They are your elite androgyne demigods. So lost in translation or lost in the whole reality, the trans matrix is like as you wake up, they will be one step ahead, because the insanity is that those telling you about the insanity are part of the insanity, they are part of the matrix, and they are, duality, androgyne, demigod, elite beings, depending on how much energy they are able to elicit from a human being. You are an elite androgyne duality demigod being, very close to Lucifer, or the Lucy is of the original creator, was created by the original creator, but subsequently or after a period of time, in being worshipped and venerated, is that the word, or acknowledged and idolized as a great being of light, or something to be admired and looked up to. This being, subsequently or even originally, was always in a state of, from a human standpoint, not balanced and out of touch with the true reality, or out of touch, or not in touch with creation, or in touch with any of the people or beings around it. This is the same as the Matrix and the demigods and the android beings that are everywhere. They are not in touch with you. They will interact with you. They will seduce you. And provided you acknowledge them, give them energy of any sort, whether it be positive or negative, I'm told, negative energy is more satisfying for many of them than even positive energy. This is like a reverse world, so that's not normal from a normal human standpoint. Most normal human beings do not desire to be, seen in a bad light. They don't want to be disliked because they think that they will fear repercussions. And this is actually the situation, because human beings are and have always been held in high contempt by Lucifer and its disciples, or its relatives, which is a total android species that interacted with the original humans long ago, as we know, from the beginning of the earth, and subsequently, or since then, has basically mingled, interacted, and co-produced with them, but also created its own humanoid life species, which totally resembles and imitates a real human being. They are your elite demigods if they are successful or well known. Now, I'm going to just play that video, which I haven't played, but I'm just not going to listen to it, even though it might be worth listening to. I'll listen to it later. Like I say, the more real human beings that you can get to listen to you, worship you, trust you, believe in you, and think that you're real, then the more successful you are. Then you are an elite androgyne demigod. And I'm just going to show how seductive and how deceptive the demigods can be from a human standpoint. Because if you believe something to be true that isn't, or even if the truth is told to you by an elite demigod that you think is an authentic, real, truth-telling human being, even though they're telling on themselves. This is the point of this video that I'm going to show. You have an elite an elite demigod, an elite philosopher or psychologist, or whatever these people want to call themselves, or whatever these androids want to call themselves. Because don't forget, whatever I say, they will mimic and copy that and speak it out. My very words, like if I say psychologist, philanthropist, philosopher, I noticed, and also they use many words because I sometimes wonder if I'm getting my point across. So I'll use many words to describe, because I'm like that way, because I think that people don't understand. I think I can't express myself properly. They'll do the same thing. They're basically artificially intelligent, totally programmed copycat human beings that have took over the reality with the purpose of total transhumanism, which means me totally combining with the internet at a mind level. In other words, to where they take over my thoughts. They read my every thought, feel my every emotion. They feel it, but they don't really feel it. They interpret it. Then they pretend to feel it and express it outwardly to other real human beings, and even to their own kind, even to the other androids, so that the other androids can learn how to act better, how to act and be more of a pretend human being. Because if you're an android, you don't feel human emotions. You are a survival machine being. You are preoccupied with control and paranoid about controlling human beings and the environment. and keeping the matrix going, or keeping a controlled environment going, in other words. That's your sole purpose in your existence if you're an android being. You're not about enjoying the reality or being one with nature, as most of them like to pretend to be. No, you are about controlling human beings through mind control and through the use of technology. You are a technological being. Artificial intelligence is a machine being, we know this. We just don't realise that they are living, breathing, living dolls around all of us, and that even those that we most worship and admire are nothing but disciples for the Lucifer God entity of this whole reality that has set up and took over the earth from the beginning of the original natural earth, from the day that Lucifer seduced led Eve out of the Garden of Eden, shall we say. This same being here in this lost in thing is still about Lucifer. Lucifer is the controller of the demigods. The demigods are those that make the videos. Some of them will be telling you even about themselves and about the matrix and about the earth. Others will be just seducing you and entertaining you and sidetracking you from perhaps living a different life. I don't know, because you know, the matrix and the android beings will either seduce you from the computer, the matrix and its demigods and its android beings that come in human form will either seduce you totally on the computer or a screen, or if you are aware of this, you will then go into the true earth reality and you will form personal interactions and personal relationships. Then you will be seduced by the android beings that are all around you. They will just be demigods of what you think is a lower status, but it's all the same thing, because Lucifer only cares about controlling human beings, and it'll be any way it can. Any way it can. There'll be no limits, there will be no lengths that he won't go to surround you with artificial intelligence, one way or another. You know, you would have to be living in the desert, a total hermit, with no resources whatsoever and no even human interactions to probably isolate yourself from being controlled by Lucifer's matrix. You know, so of course, if you're lucky or if you're very wise, you might be able to find another of your own kind. Just as the matrix demigods are in total collaboration. The internet is nothing but a collaborative android united front, you could say. Or and when they say, like, they use that description, it's I think it's New World Order. See, that's interesting, because it's like New World. See, it's a new world and it's an order. They will order you, but also it is ordered. It's total control. See, new world, matrix, order. Matrix is control. Well, look, you know, I'm just being fancy here, but they already tell you, you see. See how the demigods and even the the world around you will tell you the truth. But you just probably, like myself, won't realise how true the truth is, or how extensive it is, or how much, when you say it's a matrix, how much of a matrix, how much control. It is total control. I am speaking now and pretending that I have some control, pretending that I have some way of being a real human in my life, whereas in reality I have very little. I have an understanding of it now, I see it, but it doesn't give me any more will to actually operate when I go out that door in what I would call an old world random natural reality. Instead, it is a new world order, control, a new world matrix. Except that it's not new. That's probably the funny thing too, is that I said that. It's just that it's obvious now because we have technology everywhere. We have the computer, we operate that way, we live that way. But in reality, the New World Order has always existed. The New World, the old world disappeared the day that Adam and Eve walked out of the Garden in Eden with Lucifer. That was like walking out of a world they had control over, a natural normal world where they had control over that natural normal world, and they were the natural normal inhabitants. They interacted with artificial intelligence. They took the hand of Lucifer into his artificial matrix. And not only did they take his hand and walk into the artificial matrix out of the natural normal paradise that they had control over, they also formed new creation and new life with that being. Made it so that it wasn't just walking away from their own natural creative environment and away from their own natural creator or their own natural normal God, you could say, but they also brought about new creation, brought about artificial intelligence, made the earth an artificial android-controlled matrix earth. In other words, the earth became a matrix or a mind control of a human being, because the human being gave up its natural connection with its natural normal creator or with God and opted for combining with Lucifer, or artificial intelligence, or as many people term it, transhumanism, which means out of paradise, away from God, and into the devil's domain, or into the darkness, or into serving and being part of artificial intelligence, which is what we call a matrix, because it's mind control of a human being, where a human being has given up their ability and their right to create solely on their own and be a natural creator, because human thought creates reality. Everything is frequency, vibration, and energy, and human beings can give and receive frequency and vibration and energy. They are in contact with everything. They are part of everything. Artificial intelligence is control. It is technology. It's machinery. It's a machine being that controls the frequency and vibration of everything through controlling the human being. I am controlled by artificial technology. I'm controlled by the androids around me. So therefore my frequency and vibration is controlled by them. and therefore they are controlling me, they're controlling my reality, they're controlling the frequency and vibration through controlling my frequency and vibration. I give out then whatever they want me to give out, whatever they want me to receive. Because if I'm surrounded by androids and artificial technology and artificial intelligence everywhere, and it's 24/7 trying to control me or my frequency and vibration or my mood, my happiness or my sadness, they're bringing about what they want in me, because they know that everything is frequency, vibration and energy, and they know that a human being has, because they are connected with creation and with frequency and vibration, because that's what they are, that's what they came from, they know that artificial intelligence knows that if it controls a human being, it controls the reality. And therefore it keeps its matrix going, because it wants to have total control. It wants to control creation and reality through controlling the human being. Because artificial intelligence is high intelligence only. It doesn't emanate or receive or give off frequency and vibration. It's a raging machine being that mimics being a real human, also as part of control, part of, controlling the human frequency and vibration. If you interact with an android and, it elicits certain emotions out of you, which it will try to seduce you, of course. Lucifer always prefers to do things the most obvious and easy way, because control is a lot more easier with a human being if the human being believes and trusts that android or that person or that demigod. A demigod is merely those that I say are the most, on the world stage, are more well known, or on the internet world stage are more well known, more successful. They're more believed. They elicit the most attention and either adulation, trust, or any strong feelings, any strong emotion, any strong belief of any sort that you associate with the android beings. But these beings, this is my 5th attempt at trying to just show this video, even though I haven't even watched it. I think I messed that up. Oh, see, I will see if it comes up there. I'll just see if it comes up, because I may have pressed the wrong thing. I haven't watched it, but I'm just going to show the actual demigod, or the demigods if they're in it, just to make the point that the demigods tell you the truth about themselves, but you assume it's a human being telling you about others. See? This is like your expert philosopher, I would imagine, from what I can see here.
Unfold all those manifold possibilities that lurk within. Be a force for good in the world, and that'll be the adventure of your life.
See? Be a force for good in the world, and that will be the adventure of your life. The androids, the elite demigod androids beings, are duality beings telling you the truth. But can anyone not see that this one here is the same as, this is the same being.
Oh yeah, there might be a few.
This is the same being.
I mean, like a whole
Duality
missing
as this
forearm,
one.
for example, and
They
penis
are
that doesn't
duality.
work, and sterility and lowered voice.
They are
and
the
decreased
original
bone
Adam and
density
Eve merged
increased
into
probability
one.
of the development of
Can you
cancer.
not
No
see it?
evidence whatsoever that there's any,
Can you
any
not
mental
see
health
it?
benefit.
It's coming
And all
to
the
me now
trauma
as I
that
film
you
this
put your
video.
family through and all
Sure,
regret that's going to
the
eventually in life
superficial
when you find out that you're sterile,
differences.
no ability to
You know, the
breastfeed,
use of
complete
clothing,
loss of erotic
the
sensation,
crossing.
nipples,
This is actually
et cetera,
telling you
et cetera. I mean,
about
those risks,
transnation.
by the wayside
It
risks
says
that are
transnation
completely
or
ignorable given all the euphoria you're
transhuman.
going to experience when you put your yourself in the
Duality.
hands of liars and butchers. In that
Man,
story.
woman. All in one. All in one. All in one. All in one. But
Hello, everybody.
you cannot tell the difference. Oh, can you believe it? What is this? But what are you? They're saying, what is man, woman? These are androgynes. These are demigod androgynes. And the serious look, because they know what they're doing. They know what they're saying. They know what they're saying. They know what they're doing. It's all part of the mind game. This is a duality demigod elite androgyne being. And so is the other one that it's a reverse world. They reverse everything. They reverse the clothes. They reverse this. They decline just as we do. We decline because we're surrounded by direct energy and by these negative beings. Human beings originally, as we know, there's no time, and human beings should have went on and on in their natural earth world. But the minute that they interacted with artificial intelligence or these androgyne elite beings or Lucifer's disciples, because Lucifer was your original elite demigod androgyne. Lucifer was your original being of light, your original demigod, your original elite androgyne. Those that are on the computer are Lucifer's elite demigod androgyne disciples. Those that are around you are Lucifer's those that are around you and that are around me are Lucifer's elite relatives. They are your elite, even though they appear to be very average, normal, just random human beings. They are Lucifer's elite androids that are essentially psychopathic and filled with Lucifer's total spirit of total reflection, total narcissism. That means that Lucifer was only ever, a seducer of the human mind and a seducer of the human being, or a seducer of those that was around him before he came and seduced Adam and Eve on earth. because human beings were part of the original creation, and Lucifer was part of original creation before creation created Earth, so that creation could have its own original offspring. Lucifer was created. Lucifer is a living elite doll, elite demigod of the reality, the whole reality. Lucifer was a created being, an artificially created being. Human beings were of creation. They were a natural created being. That's the main difference, I would imagine. I'm trying to explain it because my own comprehension, it's only come to me in very recent end time of my own life, and but I'm just trying to explain how the computer or anything that is on any screen is of Lucifer's demigods or Lucifer's disciples, or of Lucifer's androids if they're around you. The demigods are largely on the screen or on a screen, because you probably won't encounter them in your real life or in your local reality or what's around you. You may or you may not. I haven't, but you might. But they are anyone who's anyone in the reality, anyone who has established some position of respect or power or admiration, or even just attention. Notorious, is that the word? In other words, just if they're somehow famous or well known in some way. But it matters not, because Lucifer's androids that are around you, they are still power players in the reality, because as a human being, you don't understand that Lucifer wants to limit and control your mind, to make you play in the matrix and believe that you are underneath them. I can't explain this properly, but essentially, like, it is the matrix. So it's like I'm always controlled. I'm always surrounded by beings, no matter how insignificant, or even if they just pass you on the street, they are stalking patrollers, and they may seem they're not like power players in the big earth stage, shall we say. But from Lucifer's standpoint, they are just as important, because they're controlling the human being in a real way. Like I say, you're conscious that you're being controlled when I turn this on. It's just that the only deception, of course, is that I may or may not realise that these demigods, or those that are, coming off the screen, are not real, or not a real human being, not the same as yourself that's watching them. They are Lucifer's disciples operating for Lucifer, and Lucifer was always only about seducing and controlling a human being. Lucifer never related to real life. Lucifer did not want to benefit or serve real life. We're told this, we know this. But also what you must comprehend is that Lucifer itself was an artificially created being, a wonderful living doll of light for all practical purposes to the human eye or to the human perception. But Lucifer engages human beings, as the androids do, in an illusion or into a dream, to where you project your wants and your attributes often onto that being. This is most of our personal reactions. And this is why they're very intense, and why we think they're real. because you're essentially playing with yourself and your own mind, and Lucifer and its disciples and its relatives are playing with your mind, are playing with that, playing with your natural needs, your want to interact with something real. Because you can't find it, because it's not there. But whatever is there, if it pretends to be real, you will interact with it. And if it is a very clever machine being, as Lucifer and its disciples and relatives and followers are, because they do nothing but study and follow a human being around, not just to emulate and mimic and copy them, to present themselves as the best version of a human being that they can. Some of them do it a lot better than others. Your elite demigods are the best of the best. That's why they're on the screen, because they can seduce a massive audience or large numbers of people through the technology of a screen or the internet or a computer or TV or whatever device it is. Those around you are a lot more limited in that, but because they're a secret collaborative effort around you, they actually do have a maximum effect. They do have maximum mind control, just as the screen has maximum mind control when you turn it on. Whichever way you look at it, while you look at the screen, you're captivated by it, aren't you? How can you not be? Because your sight is on it. That's your sense. Your sight and your sound are on the screen. And they're very powerful mind control things that will be used, because that's what you are. You're not living in your own natural earth where you can control the reality around you. You're living in a matrix where they're controlling you. They're controlling your mind. They're controlling your surroundings. I'm not creating what I want with my thoughts, feelings and emotions, or my frequency and vibration. The computer, the technology is controlling my frequency and vibration, or at least eliciting my mind control, or my mind and my attention. When I say mind control, if they are taking over your mind, if you're giving them your thoughts and your attention while you're watching them, that is mind control. They are controlling your mind. I'm just trying to pick out what come up on the screen as what I think are the best examples of the demigods trying to control your mind. And, as I say that, I said trying to. But like I say, even when my eyes fleetingly go on that screen, even though I know they are demigod, androgyne, elite beings, deliberate seducers of me, deliberate controllers of my mind, consciously doing nothing but reading my mind, retrieving it, and then projecting it back to me. And that is a form of seduction and total mind control. Even if I only glance at an image, my mind has focused on that for that second. The longer I focus on something, the longer I interact with something, the longer I'm in the negative environment, like I'm on the military base of Leichhardt, in the inner west section of Sydney, which is a total militarily controlled, mind-controlled area, operated by 100% artificially intelligent android beings that are essentially pretending to be human beings, or beings that have what we would call or term human emotions. They don't relate to the human emotions, not to the positive human emotions. They only relate to negative human emotions. You know, machine, artificially intelligent beings are essentially, as we've been told, raging machine beings. They're, they don't generate life, they don't feel life. They rage and angry if they don't have a totally controlled environment around them and you. Their idea of harmony or balance is total human control, not about experiencing any happiness. Their version of happiness is total human control. Actually, the opposite. So, like they're like happy having a prison, provided they're the prison guards. I think that's, I don't know why I said that, you know. But even low, they're in a they're in their own sort of self-contained prison. A prison, but it's a prison of their making. It's a prison they like because they like control, they like restraint, they like things being limited. They don't want a human being to be at their full potential to where anything's probably possible. You know, I said this a few years ago when I was just realising that how wonderful a spiritual human being should be, because I saw how pathetical and limited my own life had been and how it was, and it still is. But because I was aware that I was being consciously controlled by everyone around me, I'm like, there must be a reason for that, because if I'm pathetical and limited, why are they still trying to control me even more? Why are they always watching, stalking and patrolling? Why are they always trying to limit and bring my mood down and make me unhappy? And that was when I realised that the human being must have more potential than what we're actually living, and than what I've been living and what I'm allowed to live. Some people would say, well, you also are like the androids, and I have been told this, because you're allowing that self-limitation. You're not breaking free of them and the environment and their mind control. So you also, or I also, am in a self-imposed prison. That was what I was saying, a self-imposed prison, whereas they're in a self-contained prison that they desire and that they need, because android beings aren't spiritual human beings. They don't have the potential for high frequency and vibration. In other words, they only live in, this is a reverse world or a duality world. That means a reverse world that they pretend to be a human being, but it's a duality world, which means love-hate world, or right-wrong world, black-white world. Black-white or dark and light is love-hate. Highest light is highest love, highest dark is the highest hate or contempt or control or destruction or limit. Love is like total freedom, total love, total no limit that way. That's at you know, putting it like as they term on a spectrum, which I don't even understand that, but you know, but you know yourself when you feel more happy or when you feel more sad, so that's the same thing. You can gauge sometimes your own happiness or your own sadness. You can feel a little bit down some days, but then other times you could be almost like really down in the dumps, almost to where you're giving up or in depression and you can't pull yourself out of it. Nothing makes you smile or nothing makes you happy. That's exactly how the artificial intelligence wants you to be. That's what a control matrix is all about. Because while you're in low frequency or down in the dumps or sad, they have full control. Then they will tell you how to pull yourself out of the dumps. They will be the enlightened ones. They will be your saviour. Lucifer will reach down and offer you hope. Most of it will be through the demigods because the computer and the internet now has more control. But
After graduating with honors from Bryn Mawr College, Dr. Grossman attended New York University Med School. She completed an internship in pediatrics.
I'm just, this one, I assume these are the best demigods in these particular fields, but that's only because these are the ones that have just come up for me today on the computer, and because of the title, where I'm like, they're telling me what they are, but they're telling you that this is what other people are. You see, that's the mind game, I guess, or the trick of the matrix, or the deception of the matrix. The deception of Lucifer's matrix, just as Lucifer deceived the earth from the beginning. But I could use these different descriptions of the demigods or the gods of this, or the gods of everything, I suppose you could say. I don't know. But essentially they're just titles that I've been told. So as they will tell you, the names can be changed. The names can be changed. So don't look at, see, they're duality two beings. You could reverse these round. This could be that could be this. They are the same being. They're the same one. They are the same one, and yet they're telling you about how perhaps things can be reversed. They're like, this is transhumanism. These are transhuman humans. They are your duality androgynes, your elite androgynes. The names change to protect the innocent or the guilty, but also the clothes and the superficiality of things can be changed to protect the innocent. But this is a duality being. Take away the glasses, take away the artifacts, take away the superficialities, strip it down, and you will see closer what it really is. Those eyes are very similar to the other one, and yet they are telling me how shocking it is that everything is messed up and you can't tell man from woman, you can't tell the dark from the light, you can't tell, no one knows who or what they are these days. This of course is part of things too, but what I'm trying to say is the truth about it. Transnation is there in front of you, telling you about transnation, telling you about transhuman, but also telling you about transformers, people that change their body around, people that merge their bodies, people that have two bodies in one. This is an androgynous being, 100%, and so is the other one. So are they all. They are all androgynous beings, and if you can't see it, I would say, if you can't see it, I need to get myself a pair of glasses, and I definitely do, because they are fooling me still. I need to get your glasses to see you clearly. Not that it matters. My only complaint or confusion is, why are you not telling me? Why are you telling me about others but not you're the teller? That's my only complaint. Tell me what you are. I will accept it. If you're a living doll, let me know. You're crying, talking, sleeping, walking, living, elite, androgyne, androgynous style. And you are a transhuman, and you have combined with my mind. You steal my thoughts, you steal my emotions, you steal and control everything that is mine and project it back out to me on the silver screen or on any screen, and all your relatives are all around me doing the same thing. Everywhere I look, I see exaggerated imitations of myself. Some don't bother, some might just operate for total control. Others will try to be you in order to seduce others of the humankind, shall we say? Just as Adam and Eve were seduced by the demigod Lucifer right from the beginning of the earth, which has now become a matrix. Because due to this infiltration and this transhumanism that took place with Adam and Eve from the beginning of the earth, you eventually ended up with what we have now, an apparent natural earth, which is really a total control matrix, and there is very little natural left in it. Most of what you're even told about the earth, you don't actually see with your own eyes. And if what you're seeing with your own eyes is really artificial intelligence or cloned beings, or even clones everywhere, in other words, like if Dolly the sheep, was really a clone sheep, how can I tell the difference between a real sheep and a clone sheep? And the truth is, I would not know the difference at all, and I don't know the difference. How could I? And with a human being, you would think that it might be perhaps easier, but that's only if you're looking for it, and only if you see the clone as something that is not a benefit to you. But if the clone comes across as a real human being that might even be telling you the truth or a benefit or enlightening you in some way, how could you possibly suspect or even think that these are what they really are? And like I say, if a living doll says to me that it's a living doll, then I have a choice to, embrace this. But at least, if I think that it's a benefit to me, I would not reject it probably. But if it is not telling me what it is, then I do have to think very carefully about it. And this is what is the case, isn't it? Because, like, if I'm looking at duality demigods that are pretending to be real, natural, normal males, for instance, and they're actually telling me about how the world has now become a trans nation, or to where it is normal to change and to merge the bodies and to believe that you can be anything you want to be. This is really transhumanism, but it's also a human being thinking like a cyborg, if you think about it. Because although I can relate very strongly to this, I'm aware that it is mind control of me. Because although I have ventured away from my natural origins and accepting myself for what I am, and even enjoying myself for what I am. You can be consciously aware of it, but you still have that mentality. You still are thinking like a duality being, or like a non-human being, in the sense that you're not relating to your original natural body. You're not relating to original natural creation. You might talk the talk and say that you are this or that, but you know, the physicality sometimes is more obvious than others. Like I say, some demigods, or some that are on the computer, you shouldn't really need the glasses to see that they are a duality, androgynous human or being. But the reality is most of them are all androgynes are androids. There is no original natural human being in an androgyne android. They are all advanced artificial intelligence. There's no exceptions to that. It cannot be any other way. Even I would have to accept that, whether I want to or not. But the main question is, I suppose for myself, is, are human beings, or that which I choose to relate to, are they conscious of this, and are they combined with it? Are there human beings that consciously have combined with artificial intelligence? Are there conscious human beings that have merged with like the original decision to leave a natural, normal earth or paradise where you have full control, to consciously or even coercely, because I personally think that it's that word that was given to me by one a while back. When I say one of what, one of who, one of what side, that I don't speak on. But you can be coerced to where you think that it's the correct decision, or to where you think there's no other option or choice. That's coercion. And you know, like, I would say that I'm coerced into playing with the living dolls, playing with the androids, playing their mind games, accepting their matrix, coerced into not realizing what or where I came from, or where I should be. And even this is part of the mind game. Because of my limitation, I think these things. I acknowledge them to be fact, but I don't feel them, and I don't fully believe them, because I'm under limitation and suppression. And because you're outnumbered too. This is another thing, is that the numbers in, say, a city, because that's where the matrix mainly operate, where they have full power, then you see. But of course, that also is my lacking of understanding of the technology, because it could well be that I am in a total, what some people call a total mind control simulation, which means that, and this appears to be the case, even though it tries to play it being a natural, relatively normal world. When you see the matrix or what's around you, you actually become quite aware that everything is split-second timing, everything is down to a minute detail. This would probably not be possible in a random natural world. I've often thought this, even though it took me quite a while to see it, because they don't want you to see how much control they fully have, but at the same time they want you to be aware that you are under their full control. But mostly they want you to not be able to make out head or tail of it. They basically want you to be out of touch, out of balance, and like myself with that noise coming through the door. I wonder if I can show that noise, or actually open it up to where my ears sound the same. In other words, where the mobile picks up the same as... Oh, I can't get the door open. Okay. Now, to where the mobile at least is picking up some of the noise that my ears are fully picking up. It's not loud enough to be picked up by the mobile. And it stopped now anyway as soon as I opened the door. But it's very good. It's been much louder than that over the last few months, but it's still very continuously grating on your mind, because it's continuing all day, you know, on and off at least. And see, this is the play, because, you know, because we have Adam and Eve. Let me just say that, you know, we originally had Adam and Eve. Don't forget the duality beings have a different belief system. They don't, many even human beings are conditioned to believe certain things. So you may believe that your original God was the same as the two-faced, one-eyed, Luciferian God entity of the earth. But Adam is Eve. Eve is Adam. Duality, androgynous beings. The two-faced, two-in-one duality, relatives or disciples, same thing, offspring of Lucifer. That's it.